Welcome back to Conversations with Biz. This is Ben, I'm Israel, and that's Zeeks. And we're going to be talking about a short clip that came from President Trump recently about a very hot topic. Let's jump into it.
The left-wing gender insanity being pushed on our children is an act of child abuse. Very simple. Here's my plan to stop the chemical, physical, and emotional mutilation of our youth. On day one, I will revoke Joe Biden's cruel policies on so-called gender-affirming care. Ridiculous. A process that includes giving kids puberty blockers, mutating their physical appearance, and ultimately performing surgery on minor children. Can you believe this? I will sign a new executive order instructing every federal agency to cease all programs that promote the concept of sex and gender transition at any age. I will then ask Congress to permanently stop federal taxpayer dollars from being used to promote or pay for these procedures and pass a law prohibiting child sexual mutilation in all 50 states. It'll go very quickly. I will declare that any hospital or healthcare provider that participates in the chemical or physical mutilation of minor youth will no longer meet federal health and safety standards for Medicaid and Medicare and will be terminated from the program immediately. Furthermore, I will support the creation of a private right of action for victims to sue doctors who have unforgivably performed these procedures on minor children. The Department of Justice will investigate Big Pharma and the big hospital networks to determine whether they have deliberately covered up horrific long-term side effects of sex transitions in order to get rich at the expense of vulnerable patients, in this case, very vulnerable. We will also investigate whether Big Pharma or others have illegally marketed hormones and puberty blockers which are in no way licensed or approved for this use. My Department of Education will inform states and school districts that if any teacher or school official suggests to a child that they could be trapped in the wrong body, they will be faced with severe consequences, including potential civil rights violations for sex discrimination and the elimination of federal funding. As part of our new credentialing body for teachers, we will promote positive education about the nuclear family, the roles of mothers and fathers, and celebrating rather than erasing the things that make men and women different and unique. I will ask Congress to pass a bill establishing that the only genders recognized by the United States government are male and female, and they are assigned at birth. The bill will also make clear that Title IX prohibits men from participating in women's sports, and we will protect the rights of parents from being forced to allow their minor child to assume a gender which is new and an identity without the parent's consent. The identity will not be new, and it will not be without parental consent. No serious country should be telling its children that they were born with the wrong gender, a concept that was never heard of in all of human history. Nobody's ever heard of this, what's happening today. It was all when the radical left invented it just a few years ago. Under my leadership, this madness will end. Thank you very much.
Well, what do you say, lads? Listen, you know what? Listen, I have to clap for him. I'm not even gonna joke. I have to clap. I was smiling. I was smiling through aspects of that video, and as much as people say that he's, I don't know, they use all different types of words for him. I don't want to, I don't know. I don't want to, continue the drama. I think that was amazing. He said no serious country should be telling their children that they're trapped in a different body. I'll be honest with you. I think that this is going to go one of two ways. Obviously, he's in power and he's executing his orders. Other countries that are conservative leaning may follow suit, will follow suit.
I think I came across one follower. I don't even know her name, but she deserves props though because she's hard. she's basically like, she was saying that UK, they're turning around as well, in terms of like, because like I believe there was a hospital that was opened in Tavistock,
Right.
somewhere around there, where they began to perform those operations on children as well.
Okay.
Yeah, and they recently just like closed that down. They kind of started to move away from the whole. There's different genders, apart from just male and female
Come on.
and stuff like that. So she was just like, she was going on as though like, even though I'm in the UK and I wasn't really hearing it much over here, like America's quite loud, so it's mainly hearing it from America and stuff like that. But she was just going on about how, like UK, like they were fully just like backpedaling, and they just didn't want to do that stuff no more. Like they were locking it off and this, that, and the other. And I was like, it's crazy. Like it's even to actually think that, even though I rate Trump, do you know what I mean? It's like I like what he's obviously. Hopefully he goes ahead and he actually puts these things in place.
Yeah.
You're gonna get your red hat, yeah.
Fam, I ain't from that place, bro. Them man, them lot are like just like, make America great again. God bless America. Do you know what I mean? It's like, bro, why not the world? What's going on with these guys?
Yeah.
But yeah. Hopefully he does put these things in place, and yeah, man, like this thought. And it was something else that he mentioned that was like really crucial. It was like the most vulnerable. Do you know what I mean? The most vulnerable. It's like, how are you not allowing them to buy cigarettes, and you're not allowing them to buy cigarettes and alcohol, but you're gonna allow them to totally mutilize their bodies? It's crazy.
Yeah, that's mad. It's
Yeah.
really mad.
A couple of things stood out to me when I was watching that. One of the first things was, I wonder how this is going to age. You know how they say wine ages well, over time wine ages, etc. I've just think to myself, in 30 days from now, 60 days from now, and a year from now,
Yeah.
if we were to play this video again and react to it based on what he said in it, and then what it's looked like since he's taken over the White House properly, what would it look like? Obviously, politicians, typically, you know what they say about politicians. What they say is one thing, what they do is another thing. So
Yep.
Oh my days, yeah.
it'll be very, like I said already, it'll be interesting to see how much of this stuff he does. It's like he's saying a lot of the right stuff for people who are sensible. I'll put it like that, right? For people who are sensible, a lot of the stuff he's saying resonates.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For a lot of people with children, raising children in the day and age we live in, there are concerns. Sending your children to school, sending your children to mix with other children who may
Subscribe.
be, I was going to say may subscribe or may be children of people who subscribe
Right.
to these sorts of ideology
Right.
and are pushing it onto their children to accept as well. That was one of the main things I was thinking. The other thing I was thinking, which when I was watching it, I was thinking to myself, this is a coming out speech. I was looking at this like, this is a declaration of war
Yeah.
on another level to the Democratic Party, to the left. But when you was speaking about Zeke's, it made me think just even bigger. And it's like, it is to the left, but it's also a declaration to everyone out there who either has those left beliefs as well,
Yeah.
and like you were saying, people out there who have conservative beliefs as well. So he's speaking, and he just like, one of the things I know a lot of people like about Trump is he carries himself like a leader.
Yeah.
And anytime you're looking for a leader, the person who actually looks and behaves like a leader you're going to gravitate towards that person. Yeah. So it's interesting, like the way he talks about, clearly as well and simply, about the failure of the Democratic Party.
Yeah.
Think about this. And the reason I'm saying this, whether it's true or not, the way he presents it, like it's fact, it's certain. And for people who listen to him, they'll be like, yeah, I can get behind him. This is the kind of person I want to run my country or to run my business or whatever it is. And a lot of people don't realize, like, he comes from a business background. He knows how to sell.
Yeah.
And selling, persuasion is a powerful technique, is a powerful strategy you need to have if you want to be successful in business. But those things translate and carry over to things like the presidency.
I tell you what's powerful. I think that he demonstrated, as I'm listening to you talk, he's actually demonstrating how far left things could have gone. That speech he just presented is him planting his feet in the ground, as you've said, and he's taking a position saying ultimately that this is my belief, this is what I'm standing on, and it was subtle, but it rang very true throughout all of his speech. There, he said, "We're essentially promoting the nuclear family," and I think that's what I'm really clapping for. He's taking a position to say, "Look, you know what? We stand by the nuclear family." The left would have gone so far the other way, and obviously this is not we're not here to talk politics, but one of the interesting things about just looking at that is the polarization of the two sides of the fence, and his opposition was really making some really broad-reaching statements about where they wanted to take things as well. So it's interesting to see that speech there and his devotion and commitment. As you said, it's words at the moment. Let's see what happens in the next in his first 100 days. But his devotion to the family, that to me, that's massive. That is massive, bro.
Yeah. Obviously, notice he said certain things day one.
Yeah.
Day one, I'm coming for the Biden administration for certain things. But just to the point you're making, you mentioned the nuclear family. Yeah, like, doesn't that show you like the crazy world we're living in?
Yeah,
where someone has to say, I'm here to defend the nuclear family.
I was going to make mention to
Like
that.
anybody who's sensible knows the nuclear family is the blueprint to a successful society.
Bro, like village, like the whole lot, yeah. Like I was going to say, imagine the whole Biden administration, yeah, the whole time they've been running office, yeah.
Yeah.
Imagine you was asleep on ice or someone was asleep in a coma, yeah. And then
I see this.
And then you wake up and then you see the speech.
Yeah.
You're like, what the heck has happened?
Yeah, for real.
Like, do you know what I mean? You'd be like, wait. So he's president because of these ideas.
Yeah.
But these are normal ideas.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? It's like, you'll be like sitting there thinking like, yo, and when you start watching videos like, like what the heck has been going on? Like, it's actually crazy to think that the world can get to a place where the most obvious is no longer the most obvious.
Come on, bro. Come on. You're preaching, bro.
Like, it's crazy. Like, you get to that place where it's like right is no longer like. Do you know what I mean? It's like we're arguing about whether the couch is red and the couch is red, bro. Like, it's actually crazy. But like you know, like some people might not like Trump. Like, I was having a conversation with a friend of mine. I was like, dude, like, you know, like some people they'll. You know, like maybe he doesn't like someone who looks like me or whatever the case might be. Yeah? And I was like, do you know what? If he admits to my face that he don't like me, I much rather prefer that than a person who says they like me but behind closed doors are planning something evil towards me. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like, I know this guy. Like, he says he's my enemy. I just have to stay away from him.
Yeah.
Or even worse, it's like, think of it this way, yeah? Even if that was true, which I don't know, I don't really get into all of that stuff like that, yeah? Even if that was, he's now come out and he said he's protecting the people who will be here when we're gone.
Come on.
Do you know what I mean?
Yep.
So, and we all know, like, not every single president, prime minister is going to get in office and absolutely tick every single box that a Christian would like to see.
Absolutely. You're right. You're right.
You know, like how the world should basically be run, biblically, or whatever the case might be. But yeah, man, it's just absolutely nuts that we have to get to this point. But hey, we're here, boy. So I think after his election, I was reading some of the comments on YouTube. I was reading some of the comments, and the amount of Americans that were saying that we're saying, I don't know what it is, but for the past couple of days, I just feel happy.
Wow,
bro. Like it's like they've been under this dark cloud.
That's mad, you know. That is mad.
Do you know what I mean? They've been under this dark cloud, and it's just like, thank God, there's some normality.
Don't that sound spiritual though?
It does. Obviously, I was going to say, I don't know if you guys saw that meme, because obviously you're saying certain people are feeling happy, certain people are the other way.
Yeah, they're going mad,
There's one crazy meme of that I think some woman in the car and she's just screaming.
Yeah.
Yeah, I saw one with one.
I'm sorry. No. Why?
guy, bruv. Like the guy was just in the car.
Yeah.
Like, someone needs to
Yeah, you know that.
pass this guy, bro.
It's mad, you know. It's funny you're talking about that. I saw, I guess, a few clips here and there. People are getting hysterical, bruv. You know, screaming into the camera. One person said, one girl said she's sorry to all her friends who voted for him or something. Like she's just depressed or something. Bruv, it's been mad, you know. Mad. It's mad.
That's the crazy thing with politics, and it's like it was the morning after. To see my morning Bible reading, one of the things I read was in Psalms, and I just felt it was timely because the Psalm was talking about not looking to the west or looking to the east or looking to the south, but looking upwards. Promotion comes from the Lord, and it's like when we can laugh and talk about all these different people's reactions, like they really think the world is coming to an end because of this politician or that politician, but it really gives you perspective, regardless of who's in power. Knowing that there's someone above who is really in power, helps us sleep at night.
Come on.
And be confident in him, regardless of who's in power. We don't know what Trump's going to do. Like we've all said this already. Like he's saying a lot of common sense things, the right stuff. We don't know if he's just lying just to get the vote, to get into power, and he's going to do a complete 180. We don't know, but what we do know is, regardless, God is on the throne, and that helps us navigate, even from a different country. Like wherever we are in the world, we know God's got us, and I think that's the powerful thing about this.
100, bro. Like I think, like for me, I don't know, man. I don't trust none of them. Like I don't care who it is, bruv. I don't care what promises they bring. I don't care. Even if a man stands on stage and says, I'm holding the Bible and we're now going to run the country according to this book, this, that, and the other. I don't care, bro. I don't trust none of them, bro. Like, as far as I'm concerned, this world, like, the Bible talks about how we're in it, but we are not off it.
That's right.
There's a reason behind that. Do you know what I mean? The ideologies, like, we're talking about these people losing their minds and screaming at cameras and all of that. I remember I watched a little while back, I watched a video with, it was Benny Hinn and Dr. Miles Monroe, and they were talking about ideology. And Dr. Miles Monroe was just like it was going on, he was talking about how the world runs on ideas. And he was just saying, like, for example, I don't want to mess this up, but he was talking about how, take for example, like how democracy is run. Right. Yeah, and he was mentioning how it's an ideology that comes from like a government way before it. Right. These people who thought of these ideas, they're dead. They're long gone. But the world still runs on the ideas that they left behind. Right. Do you know what I mean? So, and he was just talking about how if you wanted to say, for example, like a suicide bomber, for example, the reason why you still have those individuals about, because even though the ones who came and died before them got killed or whatever the case might have been, they're gone, but the idea is still alive. Come on. So the only way that you can kill an idea is with a replacement of another idea. That's right, yeah. Do you know what I mean? So it's like, these people are behaving in the way that they're behaving because of the ideas that they've been fed. Like, I was watching The View, like, you would think someone died.
I know them lot.
I wasn't watching The View, I just on YouTube, yeah? Like, you would think someone died. Like, just like, how? And they must have had Usher on there. And then they asked him, what do you think about Trump, this, that, and the other? And then they wanted him to give an answer that would have satisfied their, you know, how they think, like weirdos. And he was just like, I think it's personal, like, do you know what I mean? It's like, he totally...
Man sidestepped that one.
Sidestepped it, bro. And it's like, and they were gobsmacked because they wanted him to respond in a way that they wanted to, do you know what I mean? And it's just all ideas, but the weird thing is like, obviously, like, luckily, if someone's running with God's idea, then you know, like, you're safe.
Come on.
Do you know what I mean? Like, that's the key thing. So for me, it's like, look, no matter what government comes into the world, I feel like the devil's got a chokehold on a lot of things. Do you know what I mean? So for me, it's like, I'm just going to trust scripture and I'm just going to live my life that way. Because,
what advice would you give to an individual? You said just now, like, you don't trust any of them. So what advice would you give to someone who wants to find a political party to support? And we're there now, boy. But they're looking for who to back. Some people say, don't not cast your vote, because not casting your vote is casting your vote. So pick, and I'm saying like some Christian leaders will take this perspective. It's useful for you to cast a vote for a party because you are assisting,
You don't want the worst of the worst. to
right?
win,
You're
basically.
assisting the shape of the community. So how would you advise someone in that vein? When you say you don't trust anyone, what advice would you give to someone that comes to you and says, you know what, I want to use my vote like people are saying I should. How do I decide which way to go?
Do you know what's funny? So I was having a conversation with one of my friends, and he was saying to me how Trump's a businessman. Everything he's doing is about money, so on and so on. And I was like, I don't know. Like me personally, I'm not into politics like that.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So I don't want to sound foolish or nothing like that. So I wouldn't know. Like, but for me, if I'm gonna pick anyone, like the reason, because I started off really disliking this guy.
For real.
Imagine, bro. I started off really disliking him, but only because of what I was seeing. But this is like before his first term.
Yeah.
Right? Like I said, I'm not into politics, so I wasn't really watching it all that hard. But the thing that was being pushed in media made me feel some type of way, made me like really believe like, yeah, maybe this guy is racist and so on and so on.
Right.
But obviously I got a friend that lives in America. And when we was having a conversation, he was just like, no, like, look, man, don't just take their word for it. Don't even take my word. Go do your own research.
That's right.
Do you know what I mean? Go do your own research. And when he started to say that, and I started to pay attention to some of like the conservatives in America,
Yeah.
I started to realize, I was like, wow, okay, cool. Like, it is like the left side versus like the right side, basically, right?
Yeah.
When I started to kind of see that, then I was like, ah, cool. Even now, I don't know all of his policies, but in terms of like the stuff that I have seen, is like if you there are a few other videos out there, yeah. Like, I mean, the ones that I've watched, all it's shown me is like we tend to think just because it's 2024 that 1990 didn't work.
Yeah.
So everyone's looking. People think, oh, like for example, when you mention certain things to people, like certain things in scripture to people, they start talking about how that was old.
Yeah.
Almost like, so because it was written,
Yeah. In the past, it has no value
now.
for today. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Got you.
and it's, if you listen to some of his policies, bro, like he's literally just talking about the normal things that govern the world
Yeah.
maybe 50 years ago.
Come on.
Like that's literally all he's doing.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And it's like, but now people are just like, yeah, that would work. That would work. It's like, it's not nothing new, really. Do you know what I mean? But like I was watching one video where he was talking about he would like to like bring money back into the educational system,
Right.
and how, like, for example, we heard it in here where on this video here where he's talking about if any teacher teaches a child that they're born in the wrong body, they can get arrested.
Come on.
It's like, these are normal things. Like back in
Yeah.
the day, you would have never allowed a teacher to do that. Like whilst Biden was running it, if a parent told a child that no, that's wrong, that parent could get arrested. Imagine how mad that is, bro.
Yeah. Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Imagine how you put your child to sleep at night. When they have bad dreams, you're the one that walks into the room to take care of them. You buy them food, you buy them clothes, but then someone could turn around and say, oh, you can't tell. Yeah, it's absolutely nuts. For me, anyways, to answer your question, that was long-winded. But to answer your question, for me, one of the most important things, this has been close to my heart, and I think I've kind of mentioned it to you guys as well, is his protection for those that can't protect themselves.
Yeah.
He hasn't just mentioned the children that are already born, but he's also talking about the unborn ones.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So for me, like, all right, cool. Even if I lived in America and financially it might be hard because of other policies that he's putting into place,
Yeah.
that for me was just like, you sold me on that,
It's priorities, isn't it?
Yeah.
Levels of priority.
basically.
Yeah. I think that's rich. Prioritizing the innocent. You know, you're talking about prioritization. He's considering those as be saying that have no one to protect them. You know, and the laws that existed previously gave them no protection. They gave them no legitimate protection, essentially. So that's rich, man. That's rich.
Yeah.
That's a strong perspective.
Yeah, that would be my, well, that was mine anyway. That's why I was like, you know what, maybe this guy ain't so bad. You know what I mean?
For real. Going back to your point about history, this reminds me of a previous conversation we had, and Israel was talking about Jesus being the most significant person, and you know, what I find is a lot of people, I think I mentioned it then, a lot of people don't value history. they don't value the lessons from the past. The world has become so short-sighted. Many in the world have become so short-sighted that they're only concerned about, you know, let's just even say like the music of this era, right? Or the pop stars and, you know, social moguls and those people who are relevant now. But it's funny, I always take interest in, you know, people from generations gone by. It could be music, actors, whatever it is, but I'm kind of intrigued. Oh, this guy from 100 years, 50, 60 years ago, this movie from, you know, 60, 80 years ago, like those kind of things, I find it intriguing because these people, I believe success transcends time. So it's not about, you know, being successful in this moment in time. I believe the genuine success, people who are genuinely successful and understand success through millennia could live in any time, any existence and be successful.
Yeah.
But people have that, you know, there's this kind of mindset today, oh no, it needs to be a tech company, it needs to be a tech boom. But the reality is, if you look at a man like Trump, this guy has been alive a little while and he's been able to succeed. People, I saw a clip actually, a girl saying, oh, but what about his debts? Do you know what I'm saying? Then someone was like, this guy, I think it was one of these guys, Charlie or something, was saying to the girl, hold on, but don't you know that he's made X amount of billion? Yeah, but he had a silver spoon in his mouth when he started. He got $1 million. Then the guy was like, do you know what it means to change millions to billions? But it's like people don't understand the actual skill, the power that you need to be able to make that kind of a transition. So
they're the same people that probably say if he lost all the money, they'll go for him as well. So, like, how do you win that equation?
Yeah.
It's poor logic, isn't it? Poor logic.